1974 would like you to journey with us as we flash back through our moments of memorable activities. Hold on as we go through the dangerous but exciting experience of painting the traditional Cahill. From the top of the cliff, the artists were slowly let down while Bernard got ready to lower the paint. Hanging from securely tied ropes, these courageous senior boys ached as they worked hour after hour to sketch the outline on the jagged rocks. But all their efforts were not in vain, as our class symbol, the Dove of Peace, overlooked the campus. Going from Cahill, we began the actual school year in September with an early morning breakfast to bring the class together.
Members of the senior council arrived at school before the sun rose to prepare the ham and scramble the dozens and dozens of eggs. Other preparation had to be done and dishes washed before there was a free moment for these faithful advisors to rest. Then it was time to set the food up in the cafe and make sure that everything was ready. Before serving our starving seniors their best breakfast of the year, Paul certainly looked anxious to taste them good eggs as our class president played hostess. More seniors seemed to enjoy this meal by their empty plates and looks of satisfaction.
As October rolled along, sounds of hammering filled the campus with the constructing of homecoming floats. With George and Charles as our hard-working chairmen, the Super Seniors float began to take the shape of a giant ukulele. Many tea leaves had to be used to string around the sides of the float. After each flower had been individually pinned on with a little creativity here and there, some senior football players came to join in the fun and work as final touches were added to our uke. Playing right into the theme, Hawaii of yesteryears, the class of 74 produced a winning float for their 5th consecutive year. We strummed into first place with the most beautiful float Kahuku has had in years. Terrence and Paul mounted their horses to lead our prize-winning float through the homecoming parade. Also in the parade, a highlight of the day's festivities, was the homecoming king and queen, Aaron George and Amanda Iseki. Representing the senior class was Linda Geezer and her escort Dietrich Abraham, along with the other class attendants that reigned over the victorious homecoming game.
Within a few days after the homecoming, Halloween, that spookiest day of the year, was here with many goodies. Having 2 cakes as part of our tree, these bewitched seniors anxiously awaited the magic word to cut. Ernest watched closely to make sure he got a big piece, and smack! What a delicious treat. Carefully handing each a piece, they suddenly didn't care about their diets anymore. Charlene seemed especially pleased, while Eric took another big bite. Bubbling over with laughter, Patricia posed as Mr. Chow as he licked his fingers clean. No other expression could show that Halloween can do to a person.
Following the cake treat, the whole student body was in for a surprise as they filed in for a special assembly sponsored by the mighty seniors, the terrific Martus Band. Those far-out musicians and classy singers, with their fancy dance steps, captivated the students. Only an occasional applause broke the intense attention for the band. Then the band members spooked us out by getting us involved with one of their numbers. Plays were presented and autographs asked for to show how much we enjoyed the Martus for our Halloween assembly.
After the Thanksgiving holiday, a special Justin assembly was held to order our commencement items. A wide variety was offered for April to choose from. Heads were measured for exact cap size, and if problems arose, Mr. McNichols, the Justin representative, was there to help on calculations. Fellow seniors also came to the rescue. But some, like Margot, chose to work independently to cause less confusion. Deciding what to order and figuring how much it would cost created much thought and contemplation. However, once the decision was made, it was time to pay at the checkout counters. Poor Linda and Johnny took a last glimpse at their hard-earned money.
With the coming of Christmas, the seniors arranged for Santa to visit the school, where Love gave Mr. Claus last-minute instructions before ho-hoing out to deliver his bag of goodies to the students. Cake was a big treat for seniors, and we expressed the joy of giving by presenting the elementary children with one of our cakes. Christmas is a time for sharing.
Beginning the new year, 1974, the Senior Week Committee went all out in having a sushi sale to earn money for this upcoming event. Eggs, anyone? Asked Edie, as Eddie joined her in making sure she cooked them right. Everyone seemed to be busy in the kitchen, and each new bunch of rice was tasted by the committee chairman, Eddie. Demonstrating her Japanese art for making sushi, Kathy carefully spread the rice on the nori. Then Daphne added the rest of the essential ingredients. Overjoyed, Peggy showed off the first sushi roll she'd ever made. Once the production process was over, deliveries were made to all those that wanted to support this worthy cause.
Which was none other than Senior Week, the most enjoyable and exciting activity of the year. Monday found all the seniors looking sharp in their class t-shirts, uniting in the overloaded gym with the rest of the student body. Everyone eagerly waited for the talented seniors to begin the show. First on the program were the three Kanaks, Tarvin, Wayne, and Rocky, whose slack key and sweet strains of Yellowbird brought them into second place. As the sounds of Yellowbird still rang in our ears, Love childishly sang her birdie song, which placed third, even though she wanted second. The bird rains finally settled down with the soothing music of Janelle's original piano arrangement, and to complete her performance, she enchanted us with My Way. Adding their 2 cents to the assembly were the dedicated officers and advisors presenting a skit, Let There Be Peace. And now, Tia Fowl brought to us, all the way from Samoa, the great, magnificent serenader of them all, Mr. Ray Charles. Speaking of celebrities, Elvis Presley was in our midst. The rendition of Let Me Love You and Come On Down impressed the judges to awarding to Rita first prize. Cheering him on, the past and present senior pep squad girls caught the beat of Butterball. To conclude the entertainment, the seniors of our famous Kahuku Red Raider band blew an end to the first successful day.
Tuesday began with preparation for the sleigh sale, where all those that volunteered dressed themselves to be presentable, decent-looking sleighs. And what a sight to behold! Paul comes booming out with those sexy legs as the first bit of the day. Next come Peggy and Sissy as a bona fide hobos. Blood pressure ran high as these 2 shapely chain workers, Mark and Charles, were auctioned off. Pauline and Janice were completely lost while Daphne and Janelle searched high and low for their bidder. Caught in the act of running away from home were Susan and Corinne, followed by those young and lively Boy Scouts, Edwin and George. It wasn't long before another eye shocker appeared as Lance, modeling on the platform. Moving right along with the prisoner, David and policewoman Sylvia, awaiting the arrival of little red Tia Hood and his godfather Clavito. And just in time for all those auctions were Mrs. Allen and Miss Wayne to the witness of the highest bid slave, Eugene and Gerald, for 10 pounds. Nearing the end were 2 reject officers, Eloise and Amanda, and Halnani, the country jack.
Adrian didn't dress up to be bought at the slave sale, but her master sure didn't fool around the next day on slave day. Watch out before her magical powers deceive you. Other slaves, such as Haunani and David, were tortured with onion perfume and whatever you call it. Also on Slave Day, baked goods were sold and something new added. An auction of lunches where a boy bids for a lunch made for two and is rewarded not only the meal, but a dining partner.
Thursday came with the seniors excused from classes to meet on the bleachers for a field day. The gunny sack relay found Chauncey and Mary Ellen hopping right into the action with Dietrich not far behind. Sylvia and Gabriel three-legged their way to the finish in the next relay. Spinning around to get that far-out feeling are Wanda and Dale in the bat race. Being swept off her feet is Peggy in the back-to-back relay, while Mark gets drenched by Raymond's terrific aim. After all the relays, everybody charged for the candy spilt by the piñata.
Preparations for the luncheon were made before the oncoming rush of the famished seniors began. Eyeing up all that delicious food were the seniors coming through the assembly line. Joseph couldn't wait to start as he strided to join the rest of the feasters.
On the last day of this fabulous week, we were off to Haleiwa Beach Park for a day of fun and relaxation. Giant Miss Shiroma displays her fantastic dribbling ability as Mr. Takahashi strikes the batter out. Bobby tries her hand at batting the wits out of Eddie. Lunchtime brought the seniors under a shady tree, feeding their faces and telling jokes. Couples strolled around, enjoyed the scenery and togetherness of each other on a beautiful day at the beach park.
To begin a lovely evening at the junior-senior prom, Mike State presents him with a Miley. As the students gathered in the lobby, admiring each other's date, Linda and Gerald showed Helaman his seating place. A reception line of faculty and advisors greeted couples as they entered. Among guests attending were Mr. and Mrs. Commett, while George and his date headed for their table. And here are some of the many happy faces that attended this special occasion. Smiles galore filled the room as even more couples looked forward to an elegant evening. Miss Shiroma, our prom advisor, and her guests, Miss Tanaka and her date, and Mr. and Mrs. Koreyasu sit back after a satisfying meal. Mr. Takahashi takes a break between dances, while other couples crowded the dance floor. Albert rocks out to the swinging beat of the band. Some chose to dance to a slower tune, like Wilfred and Daynette. Now for the time we've all been waiting for, the announcing of the prom court during intermission. George gets a kiss as Rolla is presented a bouquet of roses for the honors of being senior attendant and escort. Tarvin stoops to be congratulated king, after which Mr. Chong crowns Wanda prom queen of 74. Also receiving a bouquet of roses, Wanda and Tarvin stands as the reigning prom royalty.
Speaking of royalty, Mayday Queen, Love Baranaba, and King Joseph Pickard marked the beginning of an eventful program. Here, Wanda, representing the island of Hawaii, dances the hula. Both young and old entertainment, along with the Samoan fire dance, sparked the May festivities. As Queen Love gracefully expresses herself with her hands in a traditional hula. At the end of the program, King Joseph joined Love in the Kamehameha waltz.
This brings an end to an eventful year, but the memories of these treasured activities will always be a cherished part of our lives. For today's dream is but tomorrow's reality.